All right, everyone. Thank you. I know it's been an exciting day for everybody. We'll open up with our Frisco Bowl announcement. First, we'll have Athletic Director Christian Spears, followed by Coach Charles Huff. If you have any questions, raise your hand. We'll get the mic to you. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. You know, it's been a crazy 48 hours. Let's call it a week, right? Because at the beginning of this week, you know, we were in Idaho. At the middle of the week, we were somewhere in South Carolina. By the end of the week, we were in Florida. And today, we're in Texas, right? So we're excited about being a part of the Frisco Bowl. I think many of us maybe remember the trip for the Conference USA basketball tournament that we won down there. And a lot of our fans were able to join us at that location and realize what a great destination this is going to be for many of us. So super excited to play a really quality opponent and in a great location, and let's get after it and show Texas what herd football does. So questions, feedback?
And that's one of those nights where you're the only game on. So how cool is that instead of a day where there's 4 or 5 where they can kind of recruits can probably flip the channel, but
yeah,
you got prime time.
You know, I honestly believe that's by design, right? I think our ESPN folks recognize how substantial Marshall's brand is, and to be showcased on national TV on a primetime spot, the only game on at that time, I think is by design. I truly do. And, you know, let's show the college football audience, you know, how good Marshall football is. And I hope that's why they did what they did, placing us there. And I think it is why they did what they did.
Let's follow up on that. How much was there as far as maybe horse trading, trying to figure out, okay, they've got you here, now they got you here. How much influence did you have in that process?
You know, after the games this weekend, I'd like to say that, you know, Brad and I, in conversations with the commissioner, could have some ability to have some groupthink about what makes the most sense for Marshall. But then Alabama upsets Georgia, Florida State gets left out of the college football playoff, and the dominoes fall differently. And so I think we were a part of what happened this weekend in college football, and we ended up in a great location against a great opponent with a host that wants us there. The Frisco Bowl wants Marshall there. I got off the phone with Sean Johnson, their executive director, about an hour ago. They are thrilled to have Marshall there. So we landed in a great spot. And so no matter how you feel about college football right now with what's happening in the world, Marshall is well taken care of and will represent well at the Frisco Bowl.
And when you look at the Sun Belt Conference as a whole, 12 teams, you know, bowl eligible, what does that say about the quality of the league? And, you know, kind of 2 football seasons into this, is it what you thought it might turn into?
I think it's exactly what we expected, Luke. I really do. You know, every single team on our side is in a bowl game. We played 10 bowl representatives on our schedule this season. Albany happens to be in the playoffs in FCS. East Carolina didn't make a bowl. Otherwise, you know, we're looking at a pretty daunting schedule, especially on our side of the Sun Belt. So kudos to the Sun Belt. Kudos to Commissioner Gill for putting together a league that could get 12 teams in a bowl game. It is phenomenal. And, you know, I don't know if anyone else is going to recognize it, but there's not a single Sun Belt team playing another Sun Belt team in the bowl games. And to be able to have avoided that scenario, there's a lot of relationships that are involved in that. There's a lot of management and tactics that are involved in that. So just a lot of respect for how the Sun Belt was able to put together a bowl schedule for 12 teams where we have unique opponents from different leagues in some great locations.
Christian, you've been around college athletics for a long time, and through the years, the landscape has changed with postseason play. But still, I think at the end of the day, going to a bowl game is just rewarding for these young men and women.
It truly is. Like they get a chance to travel someplace special and unique, and you know, it's very easy to get to Texas, right? We got 2 airports and real close by to Frisco, and I'm hoping the families will travel, our fans will travel, our staff will obviously make a trip, and then anyone who's affiliated with Marshall University, you know that you're welcome to join us at the Frisco Bowl. And I think it'll be a nice send-off for those seniors, which is what we fought so hard to get at that last game of the year to put us in a position to be bowl eligible, to give those seniors a great trip. So we got one, and let's get after it now.
This might be a continuation of what Mark had asked, but last year you were excited because a lot of people from the area go down to Myrtle Beach. So
right.
Now you're going to a bigger city. Can you talk about, I guess, being able to be in a big market like Dallas? And I know you want all the fans to go down, but what is it like compared to last year where you knew a lot of people go to Myrtle Beach?
Yeah, anytime you can get your brand out, let's call it the West Coast, right? A different time zone. And just in the state of Texas generally, we have a couple of kids on our roster who are from Texas. I know for a fact that Coach and the staff is looking at recruiting more kids out of that area. We can put our brand on national TV in a Texas at the Toyota Stadium. So that is just going to be exceptional for us. And let's see how it helps us grow this football program. We got a lot of work to do. And we all know how special we want this place to be. And I'm excited for our football staff to be down in Texas and for our student athletes to experience the big city.
Any further questions? All right.
Thank you all for being here. Peace.
How's everybody doing? Once again, great to see you guys. Great to be back. Exciting times here for us, in the football program and the Marshall community, Marshall Athletics. You guys got the information today on the bowl announcement. We're excited, fired up to be going to Frisco against a really good opponent. Coach Traylor's done a really good job with that program. Obviously, our time in the Conference USA, we didn't cross over, but we did get an opportunity to see them play really well. While they were in that conference, we were in that conference. Obviously, they've moved and still have continued to do a good job. So really excited. The guys are excited. Owen Porter and crew already told me that everybody gets a cowboy hat. So this is like better than going to the playoffs to him. So it's good. It's good. We're excited. We're hitting the road heavy right now in recruiting. Obviously, it's a compact schedule of the amount of time that you have to recruit and see some of these guys and get ready for bowl prep as far as practice and meetings, and in the midst of coaching changes and staff changes. I do not have any answers or any candidates or any leads that you guys want to write and print. No, I don't. There's a lot of moving pieces that go with it. We have a great list. I've narrowed it down. I've got the guys that I need to have in mind. Obviously, resources come into play. It is what it is. It's not just, hey, do you want to come call plays for Marshall? It's financially, it's family, it's other competitors that go into it. It's the right fit. It's making sure it fits our guys and our organization where we are. So, as always, I know you guys don't think I do, but I do have a plan. I try to, get some of these things, plans in action well before, because it does take time and it does take moving pieces. But I feel really good about where we are. And as soon as we have, one of the coaches in play, we will make sure that you guys know. It's not a secret, but obviously it is sensitive timing and maneuvering all the pieces, with some teams still having bowl games and some teams still doing recruiting. All of that goes into it. So I feel really good about where we are. Again, really excited about the bowl and the opportunity that we have. Thanks again to Christian Spears and the administrative team that fought tooth and nail to make sure we got the best option that we could. And look out, Dallas. Here comes West Virginia. So with that, open up with questions.
Coach, and obviously this opportunity, you finished strong there, and just a continuation of that here in this game.
Yeah, again, I think, whenever you get a chance to continue to play the game or to continue to practice and improve, you got a chance to move the needle. If you look, the teams that consistently make bowl games traditionally continue to improve. Very seldom do you see consistent bowl teams kind of have ebbs and flows, right? There's ups and downs, right? This season's been up and down for us. But we got a chance to put it right in our barometer. We were 7 the first year, 9 the second year. Got an opportunity to go get 7 this year. I think we're moving in the right direction. No one's excited, or no one is accepting, okay, well, we only win 7 or 8 here, but in order to get to where you want to go, you got to make progress, and every year is a little bit different. I think we hit some strides last year at the right time. Schedule laid out for us right at the right time, stayed healthy at the right time. This year we kind of hit some bumps in the road, but I think what you saw is the kids kept battling, the kids kept fighting. and created an opportunity for us to go get another one. And for the seniors, it's an opportunity for them to play the game, in the green one more time. And I think that's a big piece of it, Also for the guys that have aspirations of going on to the next level, getting to extend their film library to the NFL against a really good opponent. It all matters. If I can go out and I'm Owen Porter and I can get 3 or 4 more sacks, well, that really helps my resume, when other teams are looking. If I'm, an O lineman or a D lineman, I can go out and play really well against a really good opponent. That helps. So this is a really good opportunity. Also helps for our young guys. Our young guys get 15 extra practices, so now they get a jump start on, the new defensive system that they were kind of, learned a little bit in the spring, learned a little bit in camp, and then they went to scout team for the year. Well, then now they get a chance to kind of improve and learn as well. And then also, just overall for our team, the opportunity to keep developing, keep getting stronger, keep getting healthier, keep learning, keep all obviously with – the guys that have played, the Amirs and AGs, this is like gold to them, because it's another opportunity to practice, it's another opportunity to play the game, and they're young, so it helps.
I think I probably asked a similar question last year, but how are you handling, the transfer portal decisions at this point? If they announce they're going to enter the transfer portal, does that mean they're out of the bowl game, or how do you look at that?
Typically what I do is the guys that decide to go into the portal, we do not let them play in the game, because really this weekend and this week they should be taking visits and, you call it researching other schools, so they can't be on a visit and be at practice. But we still, no one that has gone into the portal was blind. A lot of the guys that have gone into the portal, which I think is really a positive of the portal, have been walk-ons who've come in and said, Coach, hey, I want to be here, but financially it's tough for me and my family to be able to afford, to continue to do this. So I'm looking for an opportunity to go into the portal, and maybe there's another school out there, lower level, whatever it may be, that has an opportunity for me to get a scholarship. I'm all for that. I was a walk-on. I know the financial struggle. Actually, I just paid my final what is it called? Student loan payment. I mean, you feel like a free man. And so I understand that. So I understand what it's like to have that financial strain. So a lot of the guys that have gone in have been in that situation, which I totally support. Trent Holler went in, and we had the conversation before the year started. One of his career goals was to play Power 5 football. And that's something that when he grew up, he said, Coach, I don't know if I'm going to play in the NFL. I don't know, whatever these may be. But one of my career goals was to play Power 5 football. And he said, hey, if the opportunity presents itself, that's something I may want to look into. At the end of the year, he came in. We had about a 30, 40-minute conversation about it. I was very open with him. He was very open. And he said, Coach, I love it here. And I would regret not doing something that I've had a dream of since I was 4 or 5 years old. Gave him a big hug, said I love you. So nothing has been surprise, no shock, if that makes sense. A lot of it is, kids, it's a financial burden to go to school. I mean, you're a walk-on. You got to buy all your food, you got to buy all your meals. I mean, you got to buy all your, the pizza and sodas that you drink. You got to pay for every class, labs, everything. And obviously their families are helping them. So I'm always okay when that happens. Obviously, it looks like, oh, man, you got 30 or 40 guys in there. Well, we had a good walk-on program. And some of the walk-ons that we've had, we've been able to put on scholarships. Some of them have kind of, improved enough to be put on scholarship. Some of them are still debating. There's a couple guys that came in and had a conversation and said, hey, Coach, if I don't get a scholarship at the end of the spring, this is something I may have to look at. I totally get it. So it goes both ways. But every person that has went in, they've had a conversation with me. There's been no surprises. And I tell them, I'm not here to talk you in or out of the portal, because I think it has value if managed correctly. And if you're going in with a plan, you're going in with a reason. I try to talk the guys through it. And I think it's been healthy. I think it's been really healthy for our organization just to have that open dialogue. And I think the kids, when they come in, it's a tough decision. They love it here. But, their families are saying, hey, this is tough on us. So I get it.
You might have probably answered that question I was going to ask also, but does it feel like a re-recruiting process sometimes when you try to help these young men make the best decision, the right decision? Is there a right decision?
No, it's not re-recruiting because, again, I'm usually just trying to help them see both sides, and that's all I tell them. If you're going into the portal, I'm okay with it. Look at both sides. Here are the pros, here are the cons. Here are the positives, here are the negatives. Here's what could happen, here's what may not happen. And once you do that with any decision in life, like we talk about with our team, any decision in life you make, if you evaluate the pros and the cons and you make the decision from a neutral spot, not emotionally left or right, you're ultimately probably going to make more positive decisions for you. And so that's what we do. We come in, okay, hey, what are you looking for in the portal? Well, Coach, I'm looking for a scholarship opportunity. Okay, probably you may want to be ready or prepared to look a level down. I think if you're saying, hey, I want to go in the portal, okay, what do you want to do? I want to go to Georgia. Okay, well, why do you want to go to Georgia? Well, because I think I can play at Georgia. Okay, we need to have a conversation, okay? I'm not saying you can't play at Georgia, but here's what you got to do, or whatever it may be. Kids are saying, hey, I think I want to play college football, but I need a scholarship. Caden Birdie was a prime example of that last year. Caden came in, had a discussion. I said, Birdie, I think you can play here. I think you got to continue to develop. At the end of summer or spring, if there's a scholarship available, you may be in that situation. He wasn't in position to wait, to the end of the spring. So he went down to Albany, got on scholarship, playing well. I think they're number 5 in the. Yeah, they were really good. When we almost lost to them, you guys thought we were crazy. No, they were good. But in those situations, I just try to give them the best advice. So, hey, if you're looking for a scholarship, you may have to be prepared to look a level down. Or you may be prepared to look, at the same level. Maybe it's the same group of 5, different team, different conference with a different scheme, maybe whatever it may be. So I try not to talk guys in or out because what I don't want a guy to go back to the locker room and be like, man, I was going to leave, but Coach Huff talked me right back into it. Because if I got to talk you into it, somebody can talk you out of it. So I just try to give you sound advice. I always tell them, my door is open. I'm not going to persuade you either way, but I'm going to guide you because you belong to me for the rest of your life. I tell them I'm going to coach you for the rest of your life, whether you're here or not. So I'm going to guide you in the right direction. I'm not always going to tell you what to do, but I'm going to guide you with information so you can make a good decision.
When Alabama won last night, do you have a feeling you might be pinballing all around the College Bowl landscape today, and how excited it to kind of land in a spot like Frisco, because that's a great football state.
Yeah, I really didn't, pay much attention outside of the score to the game. I did not know or feel that one way or the other that would affect us. Our administration had some ideas. I think I said it after the game. I'm not a bowl snob, man. I think it's an unbelievable opportunity for these guys to get to play in a bowl. When you start, I tell guys all the time, if you want a better bowl or bigger bowl or smaller bowl, play better. So we were 6-6. We deserve to go wherever they send us, and we deserve to go fight our tails off. I do think, obviously, the way things shake down, you may have bumped us from one projection to another. Our AD and our administration were kind of, looking at different options. I told them, hey, when they tell us, just let me know. We're grateful enough to be able to have one more opportunity with this family. I love these guys. I mean, that locker room it's special. And to be able to do this one more time with those guys against a good opponent, we're going to have to prepare. We have to go down there with the right mindset. And I think that helps. I tell them bad teams don't make bowl games. So everybody in the bowl is a good team, for whatever reason. So, but yeah, we're excited. And obviously after watching the kind of shake down, obviously there's some teams at the top that aren't as happy, and there's some that are really happy. I don't think there's a perfect formula. I think the bowl committee, the playoff committee is in a tough spot. My head coach is actually on that committee. My former head coach, Joe Taylor, is on that committee. They're in a tough spot. I don't know if they're right or wrong. If you say one team's in, the other team's going to be mad. You say one team's I do think the 12 playoff picture helps even it out a little bit, but it's going to be an argument who gets 12, who gets 12, who gets 13. That's what's going to happen, right? So, yeah, part of it, I think obviously they have their reasons for who got in and who didn't. I'm not privileged enough. My arms don't reach that high to say who's right or who's wrong. I'm just trying to get the herd to go forward.
All right, Coach. 2 parts. One, Can you talk more about your opponent? I think their quarterback's in his 7th year. And then also, you have an opportunity to play in front of high school kids in the state of Texas, so it opens a door maybe to a recruiting opportunity.
Yeah, obviously the quarterback there has done a phenomenal job, and I think obviously his experience, with the amount of years that he's had, it shows on the field. I think he's got great leadership. From what it appears to me from afar, he's got really good command of the team. They believe in him. Listening to his coach talk about him, he seems like the type of kid that you want on your team. Obviously, offensively, they score a lot of points. When you look at their scores, they do a really good job of scoring points. Coach Traylor has been an offensive minded successor, in his career. He's done a really good job with that. So obviously our defense is going to be prepared for a challenge. And they run the ball well too. It's not just drop back and throw it a lot. And then obviously defensively they're opportunistic, right? Because if you're scoring a lot of points on offense, you put pressure on the other team's offense. So, and then obviously anytime you get a chance to be playing in bowl season, wherever you're playing, it's a recruiting opportunity. Obviously, playing in Texas is a huge recruiting opportunity because typically we don't have as many games, in there since we're not in Conference USA. We're not going to North Texas. But with us having, Texas State in the conference, this is a great opportunity for us to get out in that state and play well for some of those recruits to maybe say, you know what, maybe we do look at Marshall as an option, in my decision making. So obviously Texas football is one of the best in the country. Arguably the best. You could make that argument easily. A lot of really good high school coaches in that area. So to get a chance to play in front of them, I think it'll be good. Something that they may not be able to see, as frequently, normally.
One last one for me. When you look at the Sun Belt as a whole, 12 teams bowl eligible, 2 years or 2 seasons into this now, has the Sun Belt kind of turned into to what you expected it might be, and what does that say to have so many teams that are playing in the postseason?
Yeah, it's not that it's turned into. I knew what it was, and we had a discussion with the former administration about when to go in. And from a organizational standpoint, we had discussions, and I felt we needed a year to kind of remodel our program from a recruiting standpoint. The league is different. It's kind of like the SEC of the Group of Five. It's different. It's not so much of a, score 60 points, win 60 to 50 league. It's more of a, 34-24 league. I thought we needed a year to kind of, because we came in with Conference USA, we had a recruiting class built with the mindset of Conference USA. I thought we needed a year. After having the conversations from the administrative perspective, I totally understand why we went in early because of all the other things that go with it. But it just shows that it takes a while to be prepared before this league. It's the best league in the Group of Five, top to bottom, in my opinion. And I think this year is a great example of it. And how the schedule lays out, and when I say how the schedule lays out, who your crossovers are can really dictate whether you are, you look at it, App is 8-4 and they're in the championship. And I think when you look at it, whoever your crossovers are can really dictate how your path may go. With us being in the East, it's already a tough draw. So I do think, yes, we were prepared when we went in. Holistically, we are still modeling ourselves to what we're going to see every week, if that makes sense. But it just goes to show it's a real league. Any given Saturday, from top to bottom. Even teams that last year may have been not great, this year had really good years. I think when you throw in transfer portal, it even makes it even more competitive now because teams who are maybe 1 or 2 games away last year are able to flip it and add 1 or 2 guys, and now they're 1 or 2 games better. So it's challenging. I enjoy it because you have to prepare every week. It's not one of those deals where you circle on the schedule, hey, if we get by these 2, we're good. Every week you got to prepare. I think our team is starting to understand that. We played some teams this year that we've never played, ever. You know what I mean? So that gives you some experience. Okay, hey, we played this team before. They're tough. They run the ball well, whatever it may be. So hats off to the Sun Belt administration because they've built a monster. We're happy to be a part of it, and now we got to start making strides to be that monster, and that's the next plan for us.
Any further questions for Coach?
Good. Thanks, guys. We got our team banquet starting here in a little bit, so you guys are more than welcome to come on over and enjoy it with us. But, again, look forward to seeing you guys down in Frisco on the 19th. Thanks, guys.